Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Train Sim World special request by Corby. At least he's here on time, look. Corby's waited months for this one. And do you know what? It just slipped my mind. I did say I would do Sherman Hill. And because the problem's on PS5 just now, where we got the 64 gig DLC limit, the American freight ones are the biggest ones. I think it's about 6 gig, this one. So obviously, the amount of DLC I've got, it's a big chunk. So some of the American freight ones have kind of dropped off the wayside until the fix gets put in, which hopefully is pretty quick. So anyway, I put it back on last night. No problems. Didn't have to take too much off to make it work. And I thought we'd do this one. I was looking through the journeys because I couldn't remember where I was in this one. We got this one here called Superfruit, which sounded intriguing. So I believe this is exactly what it says. It's carrying perishables from one end to the other. So I don't know if they're refrigerated wagons, these. Corby may be able to tell us. But I thought we'd run this one. This is the SD70, I think this one is. So it's quite a nice one to drive. So settle in. Let's say a few hellos first. Farah, I think, was first in. He was first to comment. Oh, you got a YouTube notification for the first time. Well, that's good. That's working. Mel's in. How you doing, Mel? Nice to see you. Corby, of course. Who else have we got? Mr. Waters just jumped in. How you doing? Dave, nice to see you. Right, so this is the Superfruit train. I don't think it's got anything to do with chewing gum. Oh, that's Juicy Fruit, wasn't it? That's Juicy Fruit. That's a bit different. Hey, that's the bus video we did last night. The bus stream has actually had quite a few views today by my standards. It's been quite popular. Again, I'm a little bit surprised. But there you go. That's what happens, doesn't it? When some people have commented and said to me they quite enjoy the fact that I will stream some of those games and others won't. So it's quite nice to hear. Anyway, back to Train Sim World 2. So this is Cheyenne Yard to Hermosa, the Superfruit. Take over the Superfruit perishable food train from Cheyenne Yard to Hermosa. The SD70. It is 7,325 tons. We're a mile long, so it's a big train. 74 wagons, so it is very long. Now, I don't think I have got an engine at the back. I haven't, but I'm still going to switch on the banking com, because I don't know if we need that for the engines right behind us. I can't quite remember. Let us get the reverser into forward. We'll do all this. Generate field, engine run. Come on. There we go. Got all the lights on. Those are on. Platform lights, onboard lights, headlights. Let's have those on bright so that we can be seen. We don't need the rear ones. And I think we're ready to go. Let's just set up the panel. This is always difficult to see, isn't it? More options. Let's turn the brightness up first. Put that up to full whack. Operator controls we need next, don't we, to make sure the brakes are cut in. So the air brakes are cut in and we're set to lead, so we're good. We're good to go. So let's go to the automatic brake and start releasing it. So we just need to wait for this number to come up. So they've made some improvements here, so it's faster. I don't know if you remember at the beginning, it used to take forever for this brake to come off, with it being a mile long. How's everyone doing though? Everyone okay? Great to see everybody in. Let's get some windows open. Have a quick look outside whilst we're waiting. I think there's a button to turn the bell off, isn't there, from the controller? But I can never remember what it is. How are we doing? So the brakes are looking good. Right, let's put it into notch 5 just to take up the slack. And we're away. So our first stop, 35 miles. Actually, I don't know if that is the end of the route or whether we've got to stop and do something. It may be end to end. I tell you what, it's been a while now since I played this one, as I mentioned. But it's always good fun. Plenty of road traffic. Let's just dial it up a little bit. So these are the perishable wagons that we've got. We've got 3 locos. We've got 3? We've got 4. We've got 4. 4 locos, but these are the perishable locos. They are refrigerated. There it is. And we should be able to unlock these. I don't think there's anything inside them, but we have to make believe that the fruit is inside. But anyway, we'll close that. It's pretty neat, isn't it, how you can do this as well? You can do all this locking. Quite like that aspect of it. Right, we've still got that bell going. Let's turn that off. Right, so notch 8 is the highest we can go on the throttle. So we do start to go uphill, as I remember, on this one, straight away. Let's pop the map up actually. There's a lot on this route. Around this yard, there's so much. In the scenarios, well, some of the scenarios you do work a lot of this yard, and it gets quite complicated. Actually, there's one scenario I did where there's a lot of switching to do, and you also come all the way out here on one of them. I don't know if it's this end actually. So there's a lot to do, and then as we zoom out, you can see how long it is. There is a what is that, Dave? What is that? Is that a quarry? I think that's a quarry there. That's a quarry along the way, and then our first stop is here. This is where the line then splits, and then takes us down to Hermosa at the end. So that's where we're going. And I just realised you guys are chatting here, and I'm not seeing it because my iPad wasn't scrolling. I thought you'd all gone quiet on me. The absolute worst collectible route in TSW2. Did they fix it? There was one there's one of those snow fences you couldn't get to. I must admit, I haven't tried on here, but I did read about the problems at the time. Oh, it's a crew change at Hermosa, right? I've got you. The quarry's difficult to get out of when it's snowing or raining. Do you know, I think I've only done about 8 services on this, and I've done all the scenarios. So if that's a crew change at Hermosa, then we're not going all the way, are we not? That's a shame. Right, we'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on for time. The collectibles are now fixed. Right, that's good to know. It's crazy, isn't it? A mile long. I mean, that would be completely unheard of over here. I guess the journeys are that long though in the US. They've got to make up a decent train, haven't they, to make it cost effective. It's not like you're going to run 20 freight services a day like this, are you? Kobe says it's hard to keep line speed on the climb out of Cheyenne. Yeah, and I didn't go up to the top notch right away either, which hasn't helped me. The bison are on this route, are they? I don't remember that. Here's another one passing us, look. It's like fuel. You see the fumes coming out the top of the engines there. We're on full power now. Trying to climb this hill. I wonder why with some of these there isn't a loco at the back. Everything's on the front. $13,000 long trains, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, see that one's got a loco at the rear. So further up the route where it divides, the bison are down on the left-hand route. Right, got you, on the loop. Now I've put this back on, I'll play a little bit more of this, I think, over the next few weeks. Because I do enjoy these. I've said it before that it's nice to jump. I like playing these on a Sunday morning. Don't ask me why. I get a cup of tea, I sit down. It's a nice long run, and I quite enjoy it. So now it's back on, I will play a little bit, I think. So we've got a 1% uphill gradient right now. Dave says, I think they are the mastery thing. Oh, you mean they unlock the mastery, the bison themselves are the mastery tile, are they? That might be why I've not seen them then. I don't know if I've got the mastery on this one. I've probably not played it enough, to be honest. And while we're talking about trains, in other news, if you're in last night's stream, we were talking about somebody was mentioning the train station renovation game, but some of us didn't actually know it'd come to console. We knew it was on PC. Anyway, I have picked that up today, a couple of hours back. I think Farah's picked it up as well. So you guys are costing everybody money again. But we picked it up. I did the tutorial actually. That's as far as I've got, the tutorial. It was actually really good. So I'm putting together a first look on that one as well. It's PS4, the version that I've got. There is no next gen version. But I'll put a first look together. I've done part of it. I'll put that out this weekend as well if you're interested in looking at that. But that's a good game. I think that's one for you, Dave. I think you'll end up with that one. I think it's up your street. Kobe spent €30 yesterday because of Farah. He's getting his own back. I think Farah's spent the equivalent of €60,000 so far because of everybody mentioning things in the chat. Yeah, you've done the tutorial and mission one, right? Yeah, it was £6. It was £6. You're right. Well worth it. I felt. I'm going to say this in the first look, so I don't want to say too much about it, but I did feel slightly nauseated after the tutorial. Now that just could be me. The other thing, I was actually playing it quite close to the screen, which probably didn't help me. So when I do the first mission as part of the first look, I will play it at the correct distance. But from the tutorial, I quite liked it. Dave says, is Lumberjack out yet? You mean it's just called Lumberjack, isn't it? Rather than Lumberjack's Dynasty, which is the other one. I think Lumberjack is just Xbox, is it? Lumberjack's Dynasty is on all of them, but I think Lumberjack is just Xbox. I think Mr. Waters played that, unless I'm mistaken. It's a fair old drag up this hill, isn't it? I don't think we will get any faster than 20 whilst we're on this hill. Turn the sensitivity up. Do you know what? I've got it. I've turned it up to full whack. It's on the furthest it can. I also extended the field of view as well, so I could see a bit more either side. I'm personally thinking I was a bit too near to the screen. I was just trying to quickly do the tutorial in between doing other stuff, so I wasn't in my usual gaming position to play it. So I will finish off mission 1 tomorrow and then make a verdict, but it should be okay. I did notice that the graphics weren't as sharp as the PC version, which was a shame. Remember 2 long, 1 short horn blasts when you see the X-board. Oh, is that right? Okay, I wasn't familiar with that. 2 long, 1 short. Right, okay then. I'll look for the next board. Did you switch banking on? Yeah, I did. I mean, we've got the locals behind us, so I'm assuming you're still. Is banking for when locals are directly behind you, or is it for when there is a gap between you at the front and there's wagons in between you and the other loco? Is that what banking's for, or does banking have to be on for the ones behind, even the ones right behind you? Tana family, how are you doing? Nice to see you again. Yeah, no DPU on this one. Only for the rear units. Yeah, I thought that. I mean, because I wasn't sure, I kind of always put it on anyway. But yeah, I thought it might be that. Just on train games as well, interestingly, it was quite a while ago now. If you've seen on PC Train Life, it's called Train Life. I can't remember it's got a long title. Train Life, a rail driver's story, or something like that. If you watch the British Ace, you may have seen him playing it on PC. I tweeted the developers months ago and forgot about it to ask them when it was coming out on console, because it had been mentioned a long time ago that it was coming out on console, and randomly just tonight they've tweeted me back and said it is over the next couple of months, and they'll be in touch when there's some information to be released. So that's good. That's good news. Train Life, it's called. So I look forward to playing that one as well. It looks quite interesting. Again, another indie one. I don't think they're a big studio by any means. Right, we're sticking at 20, which is good. You can just see the back of the train there on that bend, going way back. It's probably actually longer than we can see. It's probably popping in. I can't quite tell though, but yeah, 1 mile. It's crazy. .7, right? Yeah, it's pretty steep then, isn't it? Quite detailed, aren't they, these locals? Quite nice. I didn't know that. There's the handbrake. I didn't realise that. Of course, all these open as well, don't they, for starting the engine. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Yeah, I think I saw somebody doing that on Horseshoe Curve, actually. You got slowed to 13 miles an hour up this hill. It took you 2 hours to get to Hermosa. Wow. Are you personally familiar with this area then, Colby? as well. In real life, I mean. I think this one is much better than Cane Creek. Probably said it before, but the Cane Creek one, I like the bottom end of Cane Creek where all the the factory is. But the top end, the bit that goes past the airport and whatnot, I think that I don't know, it's a bit boring. I like the bit with the mountains and the cutting and that kind of thing. It's quite nice down that end. Whereas this one's got a bit more of everything. It's going a bit more prairie like right now, but you do go through small built up areas as you're going along, so it's a nice mix. And there are some cuttings as well. I mean, I do like Cane Creek, don't get me wrong, but I can't. That's another one I can't play solid. If I dip into it every couple of weeks, that's pretty good, because it's a nice change. But it's not one I can run end to end over and over. Oh, Arizona you're from, Colby, right, got you. BNSF. Cane Creek is boring. I say I like about half of Cane Creek. Yeah, the valley, as Corby says, yeah. Right, so we've gone up to 1.5, we jumped up to 18 miles per hour, so we should be alright. 17, just as I say that. Wow, look at those trees blowing over there. I've not seen that before. Oh, look at that, they stopped. There they go. Then when we zoom in, it's like we've caught them moving. And they know when we're looking. As soon as we go to look, quick lads, stop. Is that strange, isn't it? I've never noticed that before. The trees are alive. Don't damage the trees, they're alive, they'll come and get you. The triffids. Right, so we're getting into it now, 16 miles per hour. We're doing it slowly. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Appreciate it. So we've got so many DLCs for Train Sim World. If there's any you particularly want to see, like Corby mentioned this one, any you want to see, just let me know. You can drop it in any of the comments. I always see it. Sometimes with Train Sim World 2, there's that much choice now. I struggle to sometimes choose what it is I want to run. If somebody chooses for me, it's actually quite enjoyable, because it might be something I've not really considered. So if there's anything you want to see in Train Sim World 2, just let me know. We can do it that way. I think that's a good way to do it, really. And of course, as usual, any new DLCs that we get, we'll be having those on. I think actually I've only streamed, apart from a couple of recorded videos, I've only streamed the new Isle of Wight once on release day, so I might do a little bit of that over the next few days. "13 miles per hour incoming." Yeah, you could be right. It's struggling, isn't it? What are my favourite routes? My favourite routes right now, it's changed a little bit recently, so my favourite routes right now, probably Spirit of Steam, London Commuter, and still Northern Transpennine probably third. Those three anyway, they're very, very close for me, those three. But then saying that, you know, coming in very close behind that is a Thoranda ramp. I quite like that one that we played the other week with the tilting trains. That's really nice. It's difficult. It's a difficult question, that, isn't it? I like lots of them, you know. Oh, there was an arrow there, was there? Was it a long one and then two short? I remember somebody, when Peninsula Corridor came out, I remember somebody going to great lengths to explain the use of the horn and the bell, particularly for Peninsula Corridor. I just thought, there's no way I can, there's no way I can memorise this. Not only do you have to learn to drive the train, you need to learn the use of the horn. It's a whole system in itself. And it sounded dead complicated for me, and I usually like leaving all the safety systems on, etc. But in that case, no, I didn't. I've never used the horn properly, to be honest. Hey Black Arrow, how are you? Hi Tintin, that's a wide open landscape. Nice, it's quite nice, isn't it? I think the other thing, the difference between this, I meant to mention, between this and Cane Creek, is the greenery. There's a little bit more greenery on this one, isn't there? Which just gives it an additional aspect. A little better look. Arosa, yeah, Arosa's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. You know, if you guys want to vote for Arosa, I'll play Arosa. That's a good way to get me to play the Arosa line. You were playing Steam this afternoon, Dave. Yeah, I dip into the Steam quite a lot. And, you know, I don't know anything at all about anything, but I would imagine it can't be too long, can it, before something else Steam comes out, or at least the DLC for the Spirit of Steam, because I imagine that the Spirit of Steam has been very, very popular. Even if people have bought it and then thought, nah, it's not for me, they will have still bought it just to, you know, play something completely different in Train Sim World. So I expect the sales figures actually are probably quite good. So I think it'd be silly not to capitalise on something like that, wouldn't it? Northern Transpennine is beautiful. Yes, it is. It's obviously got a bit of a connection for some of us, particularly Dave, because Dave's old house is on the route. You can see Dave's house on that route. And as I worked in Manchester for so many years, it's got a bit of a connection for me as well, really. So I quite like it. Dave's list is Steam, followed by Dresden, London, NTP, Thoranda, TVL. Yeah, TVL's alright, isn't it? Yeah, TVL. Remember when I first played it, I thought, God, it's barren, this TVL. But then I watched a video on YouTube showing the actual route, and the bleakness of TVL is absolutely spot on. They got it absolutely spot on. Dave, you also like Colne, and you don't mind Arosa. You just like the whole list, Dave, don't you? Yeah, Dave was bread and buttered on the Northern Transpennine. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I always look for your house, Dave, when I drive past. You were born near one of the stations. What, the NTP stations? You mean, Farah? Or in Arosa? Are you Swiss? I do like these. These are really nice. Speeding up now, we're up to 19. Ashton. Ah. Right, well, you've no excuse then for calling it dinner. You should be saying tea time, if you're from Ashton. People in Ashton will say tea time. Maybe you didn't stay long enough to pick that up. Let's have a look on the map. We've still got quite a way to go, look. And that's it's taken us that long. It's because it's all uphill. I mean, the route is called Sherman Hill, to be fair, so you know you would expect some gradient. I'm assuming this is some kind of workman's buildings there. You can get some good railfan shots, though, can't you, with this zoom button? This is zoomed in right now. In fact, I'll take one. And what I'll do is I'll post that on the community page from tonight's run. Right. I can't hear that bell. Let's turn it off. Don't know if that's a bug. You can't hear the bell. Is that a collectible there? That little flag? I just saw a little red flag. The running track on NTP is Fallowfield track, right? It must be good to, you know, I've said this before as well. It must be nice to have a route or anything in a game that comes in, and you're really familiar with that route. Must be quite nice. That air brake setup there says trail, doesn't it? But I think, let me look here, unless that's given us a readout from something else, let's have a look. More options. Air brake, lead. Oh, did I not change it to lead? Lead cut out. No, I don't want to do that. Did I set the brakes up wrong? That's lead cut out. That's lead cut in. There you go. I'd set the brakes up. Yeah, I'd set the brakes up wrong. Well, it's let us switch those as we're running, so fortunately we've not had to stop yet. That could have been interesting, couldn't it? It is one of the collectibles. I thought so, yeah. And this route as well is a difficult route to, if you just put any train on this track and just run down, it's a very difficult one just to run along the route and keep jumping out, isn't it? In the past, I've sort of, whatever route it is, I've created like a scenario and used an 08 and just run the class 08. Because it's dead easy to jump out when you see collectibles, but I wouldn't fancy running the 08 on this route. Can you imagine? It wouldn't even get up that hill, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'll be going for the collectibles on this one, to be fair. Horseshoe curve was enough, which, as you know, took me best part of half a day, and then I didn't get the trophy after all that for Horseshoe Curve. But I mean, it was a nice walk round. Horseshoe Curve's quite picturesque on foot, actually. It's quite a nice looking route, but I didn't get the trophy, so it was a shame. Yeah, picking up speed now. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably holding me back a little bit, wasn't it? What I did was, because I've not run this for so long, I was looking here, and it said lead there, and that blue box, and it said cutting, like it does now. What I forgot is that those two represent these buttons, so if you want that, you have to press these buttons. I thought that's what it was actually set to. It's only when I've looked up here now at this readout that I've actually seen we had the brakes set up completely wrong, so that's completely my fault. But this is what happens when you don't drive one of these for such a long time. The simplest things. If you want a challenge run of 13,000 ton from Hermosa downhill to Cheyenne, you get a runaway most of the time. So yeah, I've actually done that. Yeah, I have actually done that. Balancing those brakes out on any of these routes, we talked about it last time, I think, when we did Horseshoe, is it's quite a skill, isn't it, to balance the dynamic and the automatic and the rest of it all together. Particularly on this one. I know what you mean, because I remember coming down, probably the last time I played it, I couldn't stop for anything. No matter what brakes I was putting on, there was nothing going on. Then I probably emptied the brake pipe and then I was stuck then. How much did it cost to replace my controller and TV? Oh, after the half day getting the collectibles, yeah. In fact, it's a shame because there's definitely something up on the Horseshoe Curve ones, because pretty much all the trophies I've not been able to get. If you look at the percentages, they're quite low as well. If you look on the PlayStation Network, you know, the percentage awarded is quite low for those, which is a shame. Should be okay using a dynamic brake to keep them about 5 miles per hour under the track speed. Yeah, that's the temptation, isn't it, Dave, to go as fast as you can up to the red mark on the hood, but you really don't need to. You would normally in real life you'd drive sensibly, wouldn't you? You wouldn't try to push it. Let's go outside and have a look at this one. There he is going back down the hill. He's going at a rate of knots there. They're double containers. Yeah, talk about the weight of these trains and the length. I haven't actually seen one of these in reality. I think I would be impressed if I saw this thing now with all these containers coming past me. You probably sit there thinking, when is it going to end? Because you know, over here we just haven't seen anything like this, so it'd be a bit strange. Yeah, stay below 30. Yeah, you have to set yourself a sort of soft speed target, don't you, and stay there. Very long cargo train, Black Arrow, yeah. Generally about a mile long. They seem to all be about a mile long, from what I can gather on this route. What's the normal length in the UK for freight? I don't know exactly. Dave, you might know that, Dave, because you're a big train fan, aren't you? Nothing like that though. Nothing like that at all. Next to one of those, the UK ones look very small, I think. I think most of the time they only run with one. Yeah, it depends on the tonnage. Most of the time they run with just one loco as well, don't they? Usually a 66 or a 67. See lots and lots of Class 66s, yeah, you do see them. They're nice as well, all different train companies, different liveries. Here's the wind turbines. This is the top of the hill, is it this? The wind turbines, I think. Makes sense to have wind turbines at the top of the hill. Still got 22 miles to go, but we have picked up speed since I changed that braking, so it's made a difference. I did wonder as we set off, because both of these weren't set to 90, so we've probably had a little bit of brake dragging as we've been coming up there. Now they're both 90, so that's fine. Oh, there's an X-board, look. $100 tons, yeah, as opposed to these, which is 7,323 tons. So there's your difference right there. Maintaining a good speed right now. Is this purely a freight line? I'm assuming this is purely freight, this one. As opposed to Oakville that we got, which was obviously a Canadian route, but we can only drive freight on there. Horseshoe actually, as well, is we can only drive freight, but I think that's passenger too, isn't it? I don't know if this has got passenger at all. I did create a scenario. It's a scenario with the Javelin from Southeastern High Speed running on this one, because I wanted to get from one end to another quite fast, and it's quite an interesting scenario. You can give the Javelin a good blast on here. Oh, Amtrak sometimes comes down here, does it? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, there they are, Black Arrow. Yeah, Horseshoe, I definitely noticed the passenger stations. I think when you set off at the side, I can't remember the name now. Is it Altoona, the side that's nearest Horseshoe Curve itself? There's a passenger station there, isn't there? Right where you leave. But yeah, unfortunately, no passenger train to use. Apart from that scenario where I run the Class 150 on there, which is totally ridiculous, but you know, a true measure of my worth of a route is running the Class 150 on there and seeing how it goes. So I did do the little scenario where I took an excursion from Altoona up to Horseshoe Curve to the little display centre there, and I let everybody off at the curve. Quite enjoyed that one actually. I've not played that one since I recorded it for the video. $20 to go, so we've done, was it 35, was it, to begin with? So we've done 15 miles. Manifest 55, Intermodal 70, and Amtrak up to 90. Right, got you. But a nice suggestion this, Corby, actually, because you know, like I said before, not having run it for quite a while, it's been nice to jump back into this one. It's quite relaxing, isn't it? All these freight ones are quite relaxing. Going uphill, as you said, coming downhill is a different story. You need to be on your game, don't you, to do that? There's plenty of traffic coming the other way as well. So you mentioned it last night. I completely forgot. So that's absolutely fine. Now that I've got the brakes working correctly. And this route as well, you know, with these lengths of train and the distance you can see in front as well. Yeah, we'd have had trouble running this kind of thing to that quality a while back, but you know, the next gen consoles certainly don't have an issue with it. You know, the view you get now with the next gen into the distance is pretty nice. I'm expecting, you know, if you're on Xbox One or PS4, it's probably is probably, you know, drawn in a little bit. You probably can't see as far as that. So, you know, it's really nice to see that now. I remember when I was on the PS4 and the Bakerloo line came out and we couldn't see Wembley on PS4. I remember thinking, how can we not see Wembley? It's one of the main things we want to see when we're, you know, when we come out of the tunnels and we get to the, you know, we get to the outside section. We couldn't see it because it was there, but the boundaries of what you could see had been drawn in so that it would run properly. So, but they fixed that, didn't they? Eventually. Oh, it lags, does it, on the Xbox One as well? Yeah, I think there's a lot going on, isn't there, when you look at it? I mean, I know there's not many buildings and things around, but still. There's a lot of detail still. Still climbing though, it's a fair old climb, this one. And down at this level you can see the track rising. Have you got a next-gen console, Corby? If not, do you plan to try and get one at any point? I think when I, just based on those things I just said, when I moved from the PS4 version to the PS5 version, initially, it looks normal now, but initially I was quite blown away, I have to say. The step up in the level of detail between the two, I couldn't stop playing it, you know, when I first fired up the PS5 version. It was, you know, it was really, really nice. And I know some players, I think you did it, Dave, for a little bit, kept both versions installed for a while. I didn't. I just went lock, stock and barrel straight to the PS5 version, and there's another train coming the other way, by the way. I went straight to the PS5 version and I removed the PS4 version, never went back to it. You know, and apart from the DLC limit we got on PS5, I've not regretted it in any way. Progress obviously got reset again for the PS5 version. I know Dovetail were looking at the possibility of carrying that across, but I mean I didn't know how they would do that, and they've still not done that. So I hope nobody, you know, that could have played the next gen version held off because of the progress, because that would have been a shame, because it's still not happened. Yeah, auto racks, are they the same ones that are in Oakville? Because there's a lot of auto freight, isn't there, in Oakville? I tell you what, they transport some stuff though on this route, don't they? Yeah, Black Arrow says TSW2 looks really nice on PS5. It does. So this looks like the quarry that we're coming up to on the right hand side. So there is this nice little sort of fork here where you can go off into the quarry. As Dave says, it can be a bit difficult to get out of there depending on the weather. The gradients come off at this point. Yeah, hundreds of extra trophies. Yeah, some of them are a bit tedious to repeat, but yeah, I know what you mean. I think there's several hundred trophies right now, isn't there? That you can get, you know, if you own the whole shebang, which is quite a lot. Oh, they are the same auto racks, yeah. Just Union Pacific branding. Yeah, I thought they were familiar. I don't think we've had the preservation crew update yet, have we, for Oakville? Unless I missed that one. It's not, you know, it's not one of my favourite routes. However, you know, when there's been some updates, I don't mind going back and trying it. As I did with Arosa, actually. So I need to put that back on at some point, if we've had the update, that is. I can't really remember the last roadmap stream we had. We're probably due one about now, I think. Right, so this is better. We're up to 27, but we got a gradient again. But at least this time we're rolling. Yeah, collectibles for a third time. Yeah, I agree with you there. That was first time around. It's pretty fun. Second time around's yeah, kind of. Third time, just tedious, isn't it? Yeah, what we need, you're talking about some of the seldom played routes again. What we need is some kind of, you know, I was saying to you just earlier about I sometimes struggle with what to choose to play in this game, given the variety we've got now. What we need is some kind of quick play that looks at the routes you've got. You press a button and it'll just, you know, it'll just pick something out for you. I think it does that on Train Simulator, doesn't it, on PC? You can kind of pick a sort of duration, and it'll pick something out of your collection and put it in front of you to play. I think that's a good way to do it. But there's probably lots of things in the queue ahead of that fix-wise before something like that gets put in. I'm looking at all these signs now after what Kobe said. I'm looking for the X's. They're not massive, these signs, are they, either? That keep coming up. The speed boards are quite small. Then again, generally, the speed boards don't come in this way. The speed boards are not interested in us because there's no way we're getting up to 45 miles per hour on this direction. So the speed boards are wishful thinking, I think. Hey Cabman, how are you? You saw on Steam all the TS Classic DLCs like 10 grand. It's more than that, isn't it? I think it's more than that. The game's so old now, isn't it, that it's built up quite a library. Many years. Yeah, if you start getting Train Simulator, there'll be something you want, then something else, and then it's like gambling. Then you're on a slippy slope after that, aren't you? Don't put Farah on Train Simulator. He'll be bankrupt. Oh, he already did. Stopped at £500. I knew he'd have been in there. Oh dear. Did they fix the DLC limit? No, not yet. Not yet. It's close apparently. It's with the testing team, from what I gather. I think it's been in that status though for quite a few weeks now. So fingers crossed it's going to come out soon, because it is a pain switching the DLCs around. It's not ideal. Good job you've got plenty of surplus cash there, Farah, for all these spending habits. You haven't followed Cadman then and gone for the taxi driver game? Because then you'll have instant buyer's remorse. Black Arrow, Hope Dovetail focuses on passengers more, better animations, boarding, exiting the train. They seem to warp to the seats. Yes, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? And here's another train passing, look. That must be 5 or 6 so far. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the process for how they do the animation, but I know what you mean. You do see them go through the doors, and then suddenly they're sat down in the seat. Yeah, I bet it's on their list. To be honest, I'd be surprised if it isn't. Taxi Sims putting the fetal position. Did you manage to flog it on eBay yet? That's what I want to know. Or is it like the old-fashioned EU butter mounting? Everybody's copies of Taxi Sim all in one big warehouse, just piling up there. Sounds like you need to take a Valium, Cadman, before you make those extra vids. You need something to keep you calm. Right, we've still got 14 miles. They're very long routes these, and because of the hill, it's slow, but it is actually quite enjoyable. I'm more a fan of this, I think, than a lot of stopping and starting. So, you know, I don't mind this at all. Yeah, the grade should flatten soon. That's what I was thinking. Usually this vegetation here is the sign that we're approaching the top. In fact, it's already down to 1.1. It's amazing how some of those games actually make release, isn't it? You know, like that Taxi Sim one. I mean, I watched that first video you did, and I struggled to get through it, to be honest. And then you get the odd thing in the sale, like we were playing last night. You know, Bus Driver Simulator, the original one, which on PS Plus is, I'll just say it again, £3.19 at the moment with PS Plus. And that is just, you know, looks way more pleasurable than the Taxi Sim. Hi David, how you doing? Nice to see you. Do I play Train Simulator 2022? No, I don't, David, no. I might, once my PC does get built, I'm building my son's PC first. We've got everything now we need. It's all there, ready to go. I was about to start and I realised I needed a magnetic screwdriver set because I haven't got one. So I need to get one of those in, then I can start. Once that's done, I'll be moving on to mine. So I might do an occasional stream of Train Sim 2022, but at the moment I don't. Donut Simulator Governor Edition. Is that the new version of Autobahn then? Oh, some of the voice acting in that is straight out of Taxi Sim, isn't it? There's no options menu. That's because it doesn't want you to quit. If it had an options menu, there'd be a quit button. It doesn't want you to quit. Autobahn's getting an update this week, is it, Black Arrow? That's interesting. I hope so. Because you know I want to go back into it, but I want to be able to play it properly. And I just feel like, well, it's just a source of mirth for everybody at the moment, isn't it? I mean, we have a good laugh out of it, but somewhere within there is some serious play, I think. So if there is an update coming this time, then I hope so. We'll be straight back on it if it's a substantial update. I asked them to let me know about that, actually, about when the next update was releasing. They've not told me anything yet, so... but if it is coming out tomorrow, I'll look forward to that. The music makes your ears bleed. I bet it's so bad. It's like 8-bit music, is it? I mean, they must be trolling people with a game like that, surely. They can't look at the finished product and say, "Nice one, lads. There's a pat on the back. You know, this has been a 3-year development project, and we've got taxis to move. Pity about the AI and the crashing, but let's get it on the market. We'll just print a nice box, It's just, honestly, I don't know who the heck tests these things. They're updating the donuts. Yeah, there's only I think there's pink icing and yellow icing, so they definitely need to put more flavours in there. From what you've seen of Autobahn, it does look better when compared to Taxi Sim. That's what I'm saying. Autobahn, I think, can be a good game. I think there's some, there's some big issues with it that they can probably fix first to make it a bit more enjoyable, and then work on the rest of the stuff, in their own time. Just improve the frame rate as well. For a PS5 game, the frame rate's not brilliant. If they can tweak that in some way. So I want to jump back into it the minute it gets some update. And here's another train coming the other way. It is busy. Not 0.5-bit music, yeah. Hi, London Mordor, how are you? Will I be doing any Farming Sim 2022 videos? Yes, that's also in the plan. That is in the plan too. I might even run that next week. So keep your eye on the channel and we'll run it. I've not played it for several weeks, so I do need to jump back into it. So I've kind of made myself a list of what I want to do, and that is quite high on the list. Yeah, Mr. Water, it might not, but we've got to keep fingers crossed. They might fix something if the sales have not been that good. Oh, that Taxi Sim, yeah. It's like Farrow was saying last night about comparing things and making things look like AAA. Autobahn looks like a AAA title, probably compared to the Taxi Sim. Right, 10 miles to go till we reach more, so let's have a look at the map. So we've covered a bit of distance right now. We're about to get to the loop, actually, is just after Hermosa there, so this is what Dave was talking about where the bison are on this side. So we're moving along, 0.8 gradient, picking up speed quite nicely now. Yeah, where did you see that black arrow, just out of interest, about the patch? Are you on a forum or something somewhere? It sounds like I should, wherever it is, I should probably keep my eye on it, because it seems like they're not always telling me everything. Oh, you wrote to Aerosoft, right? Got you. Yeah. I mean, when you ask them something, they're usually quite good. The problem is trying to find the information out without doing that. Just like we said about on the road, we never know when a patch is coming for on the road. Well, we kind of told a patch is coming, but then it doesn't actually end up that way. I don't think they've ever released one at the time they said they were going to release it, and even then, it doesn't always have in it what they said was going to be in it, if you know what I mean. so it's difficult to get information. But as long as they're patching Autobahn, that's fine. Hopefully, I'll switch on tomorrow and it'll download something then. Yeah, they should have a list of planned updates on the site. It's what most people do, isn't it? You know, if there's bad sentiment about a particular game because of bugs that it's got, then surely you want to put it out there that, you know, yeah, we know about this, this is a known error, this is what we're doing about it. We don't know the date of the patch yet, but it's going to be within the next, 8 weeks or depending on certification, things like that. Just something that makes players think, oh, good, okay then. Well, I won't quite, throw it in the taxi sim pile just yet. If they're fixing it, I'll just wait, because that's what I do. I mean, sometimes like Autobahn, I haven't thought about playing it yet until the next patch comes out, and it'll probably stay like that. And then I'll try it again and try and find out what's going on. Because I know we've been playing it in jest, but I think actually we've all had fun with that one. Just because of how strange it's been. But I think we could all come back again and enjoy it when it's working correctly, with a different view on it altogether. So yeah, I hope they do fix it. The taxi sim pile is now, is basically the rubbish bin. So we'll call it the taxi sim pile. So if you play any games that are terrible, we're now saying it's going on the taxi sim pile. You read so often on Steam, these sim developers abandoning their games far too soon. Some of them, I bet some of them have no budget, do they, beyond the initial release? Yeah, they'll put the game out, and probably in the case of Taxi Sim, they had a deadline that they had to have it out by. The deadline came and went, so they released it as it was. And then there's no budget for fixing it down the line, because they're probably so small. I mean, it could be one or two people, developing that game. I don't know. But then they move on to the next thing. Because probably, if you're very small, only the release of a new game gives you that initial cash boost that you need. Once it's been out there a while, you'll stop making as much money with it. It'll be something to do with that. It'll all be to do with economics. If you like auction games and finding random stuff in Boynes, try out Boyne Finders. Are you trying to sell us something again, Mr. Water? We're all struggling with the wallet here with your suggestions of house builder, all the other stuff. Well, I'll have a look at that. Yeah, Boyne Finders. I've not heard of. Did you mention that last night? Somebody did. Somebody mentioned it last night. And another train comes past. We must be up to 8 or 9. Yeah, correct, Cadman, yeah. Yep, Kobe's right. Grain hoppers. Quite a nice variety of freight, isn't there, on this one? There's the summit. Is that the summit sign? The highest point on the Transcontinental Railroad. There you go. Now we're going downhill. But I'm assuming the back of the train isn't over the hill yet, so... We just test this dynamic brake before we get into any kind of trouble. Right, I'll take that off. So I think you need to leave it in setup for about 10 seconds, don't you, before you use it, generally. So I will leave it there, and then when we need to use it, because we're not slowing down that much, so let's go to the back. Yeah, the back of the train is still quite a way behind. Let's not fly. Yeah, exactly right. After being slow for so long, we don't want to overdo it. It's already picking up speed, look. Six miles till we stop. Another one of Farrah's collectibles is there to the left. So we've got 7,000 tons behind us, pushing us down the hill. So we definitely need to be careful. But the speed is dropping ever so slightly, so I must just have the brakes in the sweet spot right now. And we do have a 40 actually coming up in 1.5 miles. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? 4,500 horsepower. Mind you, they need it, you know, for this weight of train. Let's move that dynamic brake to 5. Because we don't want to slow up too much, but you know, then again, we don't want to, as you said, we don't want to let it run away with itself. This is a nice area with this small outcrop of rock. Almost looks natural, doesn't it, that rock? You know, the way you've got these colours coming down. The scenery, you know, in most cases, is just getting better and better. We won't mention the mountains in Switzerland, but you know, on other routes, it's much better. And this is the train spotting place, isn't it, up here? So you see the back of the train's only just getting to the rocks. There's the train spotting hill. It has a name, but I can't remember what it's called. I think they probably, the telephone poles probably only follow the railway just out of easiness in case they need to get to them. Where it's somewhere as wild as this, I bet it's something to do with that. If there's some, you know, if it's the middle of winter, something happens, I suppose they're easier to reach if they're along the side of the track. And of course the landscape has already been moulded to just put them in, whereas you know, they could be going up and down mountains and round mountains and all sorts, whereas the railway's already been shaped, if you will. Right, so the dynamic brake's off because we're going uphill slightly. See what I mean? It's already been dug out along this side rather than work their way around all these rocks and things. Three miles. Could put a bit more power in, I think. Approach medium, incoming. What's the point? What safety systems did he... Is there just an alerter in this one? I haven't even switched that on. Yeah, 1.5 miles to the yellow. Yeah, just the alerter, that's what I thought. Here's the tunnels. And we're on a downward gradient once again for this. No, I've really enjoyed this route. Good suggestion, Kobe. Even though you suggested it about 3 months ago. It's still a good suggestion. Well, good reminder, actually, good reminder last night. Let's take the throttle off. So approaching the yellow, we got 1.5 miles until the stop. There's the yellow. Put some dynamic in. It's pretty good, Mr. Watt. Yeah, and do you know what? It's generally in the sail. I don't know if it is right now, but it was in the sail pretty quick, actually. This one's a DTG route. It did come in the sail pretty quick, so yeah, keep your eye on it. I know it's been down to like 15, 16 pound at some point. And now, of course, it's been out even longer, so it may be less than that. Yeah, I'm going to put the dynamics on now, Black Arrow, and we'll see if we can bring it down. Probably have left it a little bit late. I'm going to spad it now, aren't I? It might spad. It depends. It depends how generous they are with the light after this yellow thing. Because it is coming down. We just might need a little bit extra. Well, we got 1.8 miles to the red, so we should be good. We'll obviously overrun this a little bit, but... Hey Kevin, how are you doing? Good to see you again. Yeah, I can use the air brakes, he's right. Does that take the dynamic brake off though? That? Because the dynamic brake seems to have gone. It doesn't, right. It's just the animation. The yellow bar disappeared. But it's fine because we're stopping fairly quick. Oh, you used to bail off when you're applying the air, right, got you, yeah, because it's still using the dynamic. There we go. Not a bad run at all, that one. That was the Cheyenne to Hermosa Superfruit. I love that name, Superfruit. 1 hour 37. That went quickly, didn't it? I don't know about you guys, but it certainly went quickly for me. I really enjoyed that, so thanks, Corby, again for that. It was a nice run. It's only it was short of 40 miles, but it just shows you don't have to go a massive distance to actually enjoy one of these. So I really did enjoy that. So we got a gold medal, even though we overshot. So they've obviously got generous markers on this one. Unfortunately, no red lights. So what's that? Listen to Mr. Water. Oh, farming sim. Yeah, I mentioned that just before. You might not have been in, Mr. Water. Yeah, I'm going to do some. I think I'll do some next week. One of the other guys was just asking, so yeah, I'm going to do farming sim. I did promise Farah last week I would do some, but just haven't got round to it yet. So yeah, so one of the next ones we'll do will be farming sim on a live. I think that'll be embarrassing for me at least, but we'll give it a go. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming in again. Appreciate it. Probably I probably won't be live tomorrow, I don't think, but I will put up the first look of train station renovator or renovation sim if I get a chance to finish it tomorrow. So look out for that one. Until then, take care everyone and enjoy your evening, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks.